Hi, Mortal here. If you clicked on this video, you probably know what the GameDevRocket is. If you don't, here's a quick introduction. The GameDevRocket is a game development course created by Noah and Liam Callis, better known as Blackthorn Prod. The course is supposed to be the ultimate course to game development, but is it actually? In this video, I'm going to give my answer to that as someone who has bought the course on its release on the 12th of July 2023 and has almost completed it. One cool thing that comes along with this course is the fact that you get a couple of assets for free. Most of them you can use in any way you like, but there are two asset packs that you aren't allowed to use commercially. They're called Micro Monsters and Cube Worlds. All of the assets add up to $468, which is a lot of money, but obviously this wouldn't make the course worth it by itself. Maybe you won't use all the assets, so the actual value might be less. Buying this course for the assets would be like buying meat at the store just because it's on a discount, but you don't actually eat meat. All things considered, I wouldn't take this as a fundamental reason to get a course, since you can get a lot of cool assets in many places, but it's definitely a great bonus if you're planning to do so anyway. Another perk of the GameDevRocket course is having access to a podcast featuring many successful game developers. Notable names include CodeMonkey and Mrs., who I will actually talk about later in this video. This is a feature I really enjoy, so if you are also big into podcasts, the episodes here can be great for you. If you don't usually listen to podcasts, I think this one might spark your interest if you are already looking to get into game development. Though I doubt it, perhaps you won't enjoy this part of the course. If what I've presented so far seems like niche things that won't actually help you start your game development journey, stick around until the end, because the best is yet to come. So, I've been yapping about these assets and podcasts, but this isn't an auxiliary to game development. This is supposed to be the game development course. So what about the part where you actually make games? Well, this section holds the same name as the course itself, GameDevRocket. Here you will learn to make your first game, after that a city builder, an endless runner, a top-down shooter, a 2D platformer, a mobile game, a tower defense mobile game in fact, and a full survival FPS, which you will publish on Steam. Alright, now it's starting to get interesting. Although learning to make all of these games sounds cool, you might still be skeptical about the process. So it's basically just a bunch of YouTube tutorials summed up in a course and sold for an expensive price? Well, not quite. You don't just follow along and at the end you have a functional game and you realize you haven't learned anything. The order of the games is set up in a particular way for you to gradually learn more about Unity and C#, so that you don't get lost in an ocean of difficult code, but don't do the same basic stuff over and over again either. This is something you can't get with a random mix of YouTube tutorials. On top of this, you get challenges between each video to further cement your newfound knowledge in your brain. Both Noah and Liam are great teachers with comprehensive ideas, and it's clear they have spent a lot of time crafting this course, and I think you will come to the same conclusion if you try it out, or even just watch their content on YouTube. Another great selling point to this course is the fact that it isn't stagnant, just a one-time purchase to get some secret videos that give you the almighty ancient knowledge to make games. It actually gets frequent updates, some minor and some quite substantial. One example would be the expansion of the first game you learned to make, from 2D to 3D, which I would actually consider a minor one. The two biggest updates to the course have come out since its launch are the multiplayer mastery and the horror game creation sections. These two will teach you brand new genres from scratch to a quite wide understanding of the two fields, and this time they aren't taught by Blackthorn Prod, but experts in their respective genres. For the multiplayer FPS game, Alexander Lukin is the teacher, and for the horror game it's exactly who you would expect, the aforementioned Mrs. I sadly haven't started the horror section yet, as I'm currently working on making the multiplayer FPS a full game to release on Steam, which I decided I will dedicate 6 months of my life towards. Despite this, knowing Mrs., I am sure he has been able to create some informative videos. Maybe when you heard the $468 figure for the assets, you wonder how this course could have actually been made in the first place. Well, Blackthorn Prod made deals with the makers of these particular assets in order to give them as a bonus for this course, but that still must be a lot of money that they spent. I have no clue about the actual figures, and my guess is as good as yours. But in order to compensate for that and secure a solid profit, the course has been made quite expensive. On launch, it ran for $488, being discounted, and now it costs $697. For many people, that is quite a lot of money. That is if you take it at face value, but I think it is absolutely worth it and actually even cheap if you take into account how good the course is. If you are oscillating on whether you should actually buy the course, you might want to try it, as there is a 7-day money-back guarantee. If you are really serious about wanting to become a game developer, I believe this would be one of, if not the best decision you will have ever made in your professional life. Making games isn't only about learning how to code and put things together, but also about the visuals of your creations. What might come as a surprise to you is the fact that the GameDevRocket section of the course isn't actually the longest in terms of content time, being overshadowed only by the game art section. Here, you will learn how to create pixel art, sketch 2D art using Photoshop, and learn Blender modeling and animation, which is my favorite part. The pixel art course is presented by Heartbeast, and the Blender mastery is taught by Gustavo Rosa, who has over 20 years of experience in the field. I'm about the most untalented person you could find, artistically speaking, and even I have managed to create the animation you see on screen, starting from just a blank cube. Take that into account when you are contemplating on whether you should buy the course or not. I saved the best for last. This is the first section of the course that I completed. I actually did it on day 1. I joined the private GameDevRocket Discord server. You are probably wondering what all that build-up was for, if apparently the best feature is some random Discord server. Well, maybe it isn't the best feature, but it certainly is one that holds a special place in my heart. Learning game development can be cool and all, but it might feel like an unrewarding and lonely path. If I'm honest, I don't think this channel would have existed without that Discord server, and I would have certainly been less advanced in my journey. The people I've met there are very important to me, as they've kept me on track, and I've also hopefully helped them to stay on track. We really have quite a tight-knit community there that I highly value. From the outside, this probably seems like a minor thing, but if you decide to buy the course and join us, you will see for yourself. Believe it or not, I actually haven't managed to touch on many aspects of the course, and only chose the ones I find most interesting, in order to keep the video short. If you want to find out more about the course, you can go to GameDevRocket.com. I want to clearly state that this video is not sponsored, and I have not been influenced or pressured by anyone to make this video. What I posted here are just my completely honest thoughts. If you decide to buy the course, you might also want some extra tips on starting game development this year, which you can find in this video right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.